What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching a Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is just a web series where we talk about all things matter to me in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 83, and you guys already know what took place over the last weekend. San Diego Comic-Con 2015. It was huge. Last year it was huge. The years before that it was huge. This year it was huge. And even though Marvel Studios wasn't here to represent because they were busy filming Captain America Civil War, it was still huge because all the other major studios came to represent. And one of those big studios was, of course, 20th Century Fox, because they had a lot to say about their comic book movie properties. And that's what we're here to talk about. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is, of course, known for his portrayal of Blade in the Blade franchise. And while he wasn't really here to talk about another installment of Blade, he was here to promote his upcoming action series, The Player. But of course, he's gonna be asked about the possibility of him coming back for Blade 4, which is still a possibility. And that is because he revealed that he was in talks with Marvel Studios. He's in talks with Marvel Studios about possibly returning for another installment of Blade 4. That's just a possibility. Now, he also mentioned that if they weren't going to have him come back for Blade, then he would be playing a different character in the Marvel universe. All right, so that could possibly happen. We don't know for sure, but they're in talks, and it's a possibility. Okay, and you know what? If he comes back for Blade 4, or at least a fourth installment of Blade, then I'd be pretty happy because I like Blade 1, I like Blade 2. I thought Blade 2 was the best in the trilogy, but Blade 3 was a bit of a letdown. So, you know what? I think that it would be great for him to come back and then close off the franchise in a much better way. Alright, so that's all up in the air right now, and hopefully we'll see that happen. Now let's talk about what 20th Century Fox had to offer at Hall H. A lot of fans lined up for this, and they did not disappoint. First of all, I'll let you know that every single film from 20th Century Fox was represented in one way or another, whether it be a big way or a small way. They talked about Gambit, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, XMen Apocalypse, and of course the Wolverine solo film series. Alright, so let's just talk about them, you know, one by one. Alright, let's first talk about the third Wolverine film, which is now titled Wolverine. Okay, the first one was called X-Men Origins Wolverine, the next one is called The Wolverine, and now the third one is called Wolverine, which I think is a pretty appropriate title. I mean, they've done this sort of thing with a lot of franchise of titles, like, for example, Alien, Aliens, Predator, Predator 2, Predators. You know, they've done this sort of thing before, so you know what? I think it's a very appropriate title. And the only thing that Hugh Jackman had to say about Wolverine is that he hinted Old Man Logan. That's all he had to say, all right? Old Man Logan. Of course, we can expect to see the Old Man Logan comic book story in the film. Alright, so that's all that was represented for Wolverine. As for X-Men Apocalypse, we got our first look at Apocalypse himself in the form of a poster. Check this out. Check out this poster. This was given away to fans. And this is what Apocalypse looks like. This is a very, very artistic representation of him. But at least it is our first look at Apocalypse. But for the fans who attended Hall H, they got to see a trailer. Alright, and now this trailer didn't have a whole bunch of effects to it. I actually haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's not being released officially from 20th Century Fox. There are only leaked versions out there, which I have not seen yet, but a lot of people got to see what Apocalypse actually looks like. Alright, so another thing that was revealed at the panel for X-Men Apocalypse is, okay, spoiler alert, okay, I'm just warning you right now, here's a bit of a spoiler. I already saw the panel, so it's too late for me, but I'm going to share it with you guys. But of course, this contains spoilers. Oscar Isaac actually revealed who the 4 horsemen are going to be. Okay, and I'm going to reveal that for you guys right now. And that would be Angel/Archangel. He's probably going to make that transition throughout the film, played by Ben Hardy. Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn. Storm, played by Alexandra Shipp. And Magneto, played by Michael Fassbender. end spoilers. Those are the 4 horsemen that will be a part of Apocalypse's minions. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about Fantastic Four. And Simon Kinberg, who's the producer, director, Josh Trank, as well as the cast of the Fantastic Four. They were all there, and what I got out of it was I guess the most interesting thing that I got out of it was that Josh Trank actually canceled the 3D conversion. Okay, Fantastic Four will not be presented in 3D, which is kind of a good thing. All right, there are a lot of directors out there who intend for their films to be in 3D. There are also directors who intend for their film to be presented in 2D, the truest possible way to watch the film, because they said that they want their film to be watched in 2D. Josh Trank is one of those directors, and I totally respect him for that, for making that decision. If his film is not going to be shown, is not supposed to be represented in 3D, then he totally did not want the audience to experience it that way. That's something the studios make the decision for as a cash grab. For example, Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, was not meant to be a scene in 3D, but the studios wanted it to be post-converted to make more money. Same thing happened with Pacific Rim. Guillermo del Toro did not want that, but the studios, they have the ability to override his decision, and then so that's what happened. All right, and of course the 3 post conversions are not that great. And when you watch Man of Steel and Pacific Rim, you can tell that this film was not meant to be shown in 3D. But Josh Trank, you know what? He canceled the 3D post conversion, and so we are not getting it represented in 3D. So that is great. Okay. Now moving on, let's talk about Deadpool. Okay. Deadpool footage was revealed at Comic-Con. They had a little bit of a teaser for the fans at Comic-Con, and of course it was leaked. And I didn't watch it, but from what I gather, there will be an official version of that trailer released in 3 weeks. No word on if it's going to be a green band version or a red band version. But what is really cool, based on what I've read about the trailer description, was that there's a lot of being true to the comic. All right. Of course, we got Ryan Reynolds being himself with his vocabulary, which is exactly what Wade Wilson is like. Okay, he's the merc with the mouth. That's his nickname, and he's totally speaking in his totally R-rated style. Speaking of R-rated style, this film is 100% R-rated. Apparently, the fans were treated to a lot of R-rated gory action, which is really, really cool. That's the way it should be. It's very true to the comic. Director Tim Miller mentioned that this will be very, very true to the comic, and I'm really, really excited. Apparently, Colossus was shown. All the other characters were there. Now, as for Gambit, not a whole lot was talked about at all, not even from the producers, but at least Channing Tatum showed up to be on stage for the superhero selfie, which happened to be the biggest superhero selfie taken ever. Okay, so you saw the entire cast of Fantastic Four there. You saw the entire cast of XMen Apocalypse. Hugh Jackman showed up, and also the cast members of Deadpool. And all they had to do was complete it with Channing Tatum, and he showed up. And there you have the entire cast of this cinematic universe created by 20th Century Fox. All right, it's even bigger. It's even a bigger cast. A cast group than the Avengers. All right, of course Avengers has the star power. 20th Century Fox has a bunch of big stars, and combined with some young and upcoming actors that nobody knows about. But still, when you look at the bigger picture, these guys represent a large number of characters, especially mutants. All right, so there you have it. So Comic-Con was awesome, especially for comic book fans, and while Marvel Studios wasn't there to represent, Sony Pictures wasn't there to represent, I at least have one more little bit of news tidbit for you from the Spider-Man front, and that is Oscar Academy Awarded actress Marissa Tomei will be playing Aunt May, confirmed for the new Spider-Man film. All right, I don't know if she's going to make an appearance in Civil War, but she at least is going to make an appearance in Spider-Man the new Avenger film, which comes out in 2017. All right, she's been cast to play Aunt May, and wow, she looks great for a 51-year-old. And you know what? I think a lot of people are saying that, you know what? Marissa Tomei doesn't look like Aunt May. She just doesn't. All right, and we know how Aunt May looks like in the comics, and the most accurate representation physically as Aunt May is, of course, the Aunt May that was represented in Sam Raimi's trilogy. All right, she looked exactly like Aunt May, and then she got a little bit younger, played by Sally Field in the reboot from Mark Webb, and now this time she looks even younger, even more younger. But keep in mind, she is 51 years old. Marissa Tomei just looks great as a 51-year-old. Okay, now what's very, very, I guess, important to me is that not only do they have a great performer playing Aunt May, but also everything looks relative, okay? Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, looks like a teenager. Peter Parker, played by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they look like adults playing teenage roles, okay? Now, if you put everything in perspective, Tom Holland looks really, really, really young. Marissa Tomei looks like she might not be a grandmother, okay? Or at least she doesn't look that Aunt May part. But if you put everything in perspective, it's all relative. Okay, these are younger versions, or at least younger looking versions of these characters, and I think they're gonna do just fine. Okay, so there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. I'm not gonna be posting links to leaked trailers. I do not watch them. I only watch the official versions. And if you want to go ahead and look for them, by all means, go right ahead. But I'm gonna wait for an official version to be released so that I can watch it in its full HD glory. Now, what do you guys think about Wesley Snipes returning for Blade 4? It's a possibility. What do you guys think about Marissa Tomei playing Aunt May? And also, how do you guys feel about the 20th Century Fox Marvel Universe? Alright? Really, really exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see any of these films, especially Deadpool. I cannot wait for Deadpool, okay? 2016 is going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest year for superhero films. Every year we keep on saying it's going to be, that year is the biggest one, but 2016 is definitely the biggest year, okay? And that's all I got to say in this video. As always, if you want to see more videos, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Hughes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.